Hello Mountain Ops family, it is Christmas time. Here as I look outside the walls of Mountain Ops, the snow is coming down and it truly is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And I wanted to take a moment to share a Christmas message with each of you. This message, this story is shared in my family. It has been for many years. My father shares it every Christmas Eve. You probably have your own traditions and those things you talk about, those things you share. We do a little talent show on Christmas Eve to present our gifts that we want to share, the talents we've been given. And my father always shares this story. So I wanted to take a moment to share it with you. It's a story about a young man named Wally. And Wally lives in a town in the Midwest, a town similar to what you'd see on like a Hallmark film, where everything's picture perfect, especially at Christmas time. And in this town every year, the parents gather and they put together a Christmas pageant to portray the nativity and the story of Christmas. And each year these children want to play the different roles, and Wally's always wanted to play a role, but Wally has some mental challenges that keep him from being able to do things like other kids, and he's a bit slower and just challenged in that way. But he wanted to play a role, and so the parents came together and they said there's a role that can play some significance for Wally, and it can be short and sweet, and they gave him the role of the innkeeper. And with that, you know, his role was to say 3 words: there's no room. And so they presented that to Wally. He was excited. He practiced time and time again and made sure he had his role and his responsibility down so that he could play that part as the innkeeper. And the night of the pageant came around, the town gathered in the town hall. Everyone was there, everyone was excited. The scene was set before them on the stage, the nativity there in Bethlehem. And here comes Mary and Joseph. And they're coming through the city of Bethlehem trying to find a place for this birth of our Savior Jesus Christ. And as they come to the door of the innkeeper, they knock on the door, Wally opens it, and he stands there staring at Mary and Joseph. And there was just silence. And so he was looking at them. The people in the audience were waiting for those 3 words to be said by Wally. And there was silence. And ultimately people started to kind of mouth the words, "There's no room," trying to help coax him to understand what his role was. And eventually the words came out and Wally said, "There's no room." And so Mary and Joseph went on their way, exiting the stage. And as they went on their way, Wally stood at the door without closing it, and he just was staring out into the audience in a daze. And people were wondering, what is he doing? And right before Mary and Joseph exited the stage, Wally stepped out of the door and said, "Wait, you can have my room." And the people there in that town that night understood a much more significant message that Wally was trying to portray. And through his innocent message, opening up our hearts to what room do we fill in our lives? What room do we give at this Christmas time? We celebrate a birth of Jesus Christ. What room do we make for Jesus Christ? And here at Mountain Ops, we've had an incredible year. Our number one core value is to recognize God, to celebrate this, to celebrate the gifts that come through this birth that we celebrate. And we've tried to make room for Him this year. We've tried to make room for each of you and the relationships that we share. And so as we look back on this year, there's been incredible things, starting from the first of the year with the Conquer Fitness Challenge, where thousands of lives have been transformed physically, spiritually, mentally, socially, as we focused in on those realms, making room for improvement in our lives. And here at Mountain Ops, we've got over 50 employees that have dedicated themselves to live that Conquer More lifestyle within the walls of Mountain Ops so that we can be more beneficial and helpful in opening up room in our lives for each of you, so that we can be a greater instrument in helping you in a Conquer More way. We've done incredible things out in the community. Our first Conquer Summit activity where we brought people in from all over the country, and we ran a race, and we had activities where we packed food for the hungry children. And that was one of our highlights of this year, conquering hunger by donating and hitting a milestone of 4 million meals. And within a few months and then into the next year, let's conquer more and let's hit 5 million meals. Together as a community, we're opening ourselves up and we're making room for things that matter most in life. And that's what our core values at Mountain Ops are all about. They dictate and they transform and they direct us in the right path to opening up ourselves to the most important and sacred and special things in life that help to transform lives in a major and significant way. We were able to visit Darren, who went through our Conquer Fitness Challenge and won $30,000 donated to him from Mountain Ops through that transformation that he went through, and we'll be doing that again. So there's lives to be changed, hearts to be changed, eyes to be open, and we hope that each of you through this coming year will open up your heart to conquer more and to join us in our community here at Mountain Ops to conquer more together. They rise highest who lift as they go, and that's what we're all about. We hope that you feel that. We hope you have a very Merry Christmas and that you know that we've made room in our lives for each of you. It's the most special part of what we do here is the connections we feel as we connect and conquer more with each of you. Merry Christmas.